සංසාර සාරෝග විනීතනී සන්නේත සාතං සුචිසාරදේසං සන්ධේරකං සොන්න තනුපලාසං සංලාපදේසින් පනමේ බිසාසම් සමන්තා චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්දම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තු සග්ග මොක්ඛදම් ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්ම ශ්‍රවණ කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස ඒතේතේ භික්ඛවේ උභෝ අන්තේ අනුපගම්ම මජ්ක්‍ධිමා පටිපදා තථාගතේන අභිසම්බුද්ධා සාදු සාදු. Dear friends in the Dhamma, today we are going to discuss one of the main topics in Buddhism, the Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Attangika Magga. All Buddhist doctrines can be included in this topic. This is a very huge discovery in Buddhism. And according to our mental conditions, according to our intelligence, we can explain this topic. And also, according to our intelligence and courage, we can practice it. And also we can see the results in this life. Day by day, when we study, when we learn what Buddha taught, our intelligence, our comprehension, understanding gradually increases. What kind of understanding that increases in our life when we listen to Buddha's message? What is the understanding that increases when we listen to what Buddha taught? Understanding of our life. What happens to my body and mind? And also when we understand our life, then when we meet a person, we apply that understand to that person. For example, when I contemplate on 4 fundamental elements, like Patavi, Apo, Tejo, earth element, fire element, water element, wind element. These are the things that my body has. When I have this understanding, as soon as I meet a person which causes to my desire, I suddenly apply this understanding to the person. And also, when I understand my mind, which arises and ceases every moment, when I meet a person, then we apply this understanding to that person. Then, if we have some kind of attachment or disattachment, that gradually decreases. And also, the very special thing, people in the world, they always try to understand outside. And also they always try to change outside things and persons. But we, Buddha's disciples, we always try to understand our inside. People who have no clear understanding, they always try to recognize outside things. But we try to understand inside. When we experience something outside, we understand what happens to my mind. But people are going to outside. They want to catch something outside. Like, the pet, innocent pets. When they go to the mirror, they try to jump to the mirror. But we, intelligent people, we try to understand, now my body is very pure, my body is very clear. We understand here. But that ignorant pet jumps to the mirror. The society also like that. If we have this understanding, when our mind is upset, when we experience something, we don't criticize outside. We understand and we are ashamed that I had a mistake. That is why I get upset. Then this is the understanding what we have as much as we listening to Dhamma, as much as we practice Dhamma. And actually, Buddha says, places where our intelligence increases are listening Dhamma, preaching Dhamma, reflecting Dhamma, chanting Dhamma, and meditation. These are the places where our intelligence increases. At this moment, if you have clear understanding, if you have good attention, then this is also a place where you increase your intelligence, mindfulness. This is the place that like you meditate. When you meditate, your mindfulness, your intelligence, your wisdom gradually increases. When you are listening to Dhamma, if you are listening the real message that Buddha explained, be sure your suffering gradually decreases. And also your happiness gradually increases. And we should understand how suffering arises and how real happiness increases. The two places that we can see, one of them is suffering or sadness. Whenever we are suffering, it means our mind is polluted with craving and anger. Craving and anger. And also, whenever we are really happy, at that moment, we are happy, and also at that moment our mind is pure. We have purified our mind from negative thoughts such as craving and anger. And also a special thing, we have no craving, no anger. At the same time, be sure, whenever we are unhappy, whenever we are suffering, it means What is the root? What is the root? Root is ignorance. Root is ignorance. Whenever we are happy, what is the root? What is the root? Wisdom. What is the nature of ignorance that brings us suffering? When we experience something, we are ignorant that before I experienced, it was here. And also after experience, we are ignorant that it remains. When somebody blames you, before that experience, you may think that person was here. After that person blames me, that person, that sound is in the world. That is why we are suffering. Whenever we remember that incident, suddenly we get upset and we are unhappy. All Buddhist doctrines focus on opposite of this ignorance. Whenever we are really happy, it means we are reflecting on impermanence. We are reflecting on the dependent origination, wisdom. As soon as we experience something outside, if we are wise, if we are intelligent, that experience was not here before I experienced, and also it doesn't remain after I experience, then I have no any defilement. I am free. I have real liberation. If you want to achieve this liberation, we have to listen to this message again and again, and also we have to practice it in our day-to-day life. Now we are dependent on outside. When somebody blames us, we are unhappy. When somebody appreciates us, we are happy. Now we are like beggars. Beggars are holding their hand. Please give me something. Give me something. We are like beggars. Buddhism explained us how we overcome this dependence and how we achieve the real independence, freedom, liberation. And here, this Noble Eightfold Path, Arya Ashtangika Magga or Arya Ashtangika Marga is very, very important. As much as we are knowledgeable, what Buddha explained about our life, which consists in body and mind, our understanding, our vision gradually increases. Here, there are 8 steps. Noble Eightfold Path. One of them is Samma Ditti. Samma Ditti means right understanding. Right understanding. Right understanding, intelligence or wisdom or comprehension can be divided into 2. What they are? One of them is the understanding of the karmic law. At the very first level, when we listening to Dhamma, that increases in our life is the understanding of the karmic law. Whatever we do with intention, with consciousness, we have the same result. If our mind is polluted with craving, anger and delusion, our actions that we do physically, verbally or mentally are wrong. At the same time, the results that we receive are unpleasant. In the same way, whatever we do with pure mind, physically, verbally or mentally, we will have the fruitful results, good results, wholesome results because of pure mind. This is the first understanding that we have, karmic law. If we have this understanding, according to Buddha's message, Sabba Papa Sakarana, we always try to overcome evils, negative thoughts from our mind. Because we know very well, if my mind is polluted with negative thoughts, I have no real happiness. My highest goal is happiness. I don't disturb this goal. I want to keep my mind pure and calm always. I don't give to anybody to disturb my peace of mind. Because my mind is more important than my other things. Therefore, I always keep my mind like a pure flower, like these flowers. These are the very natural new flowers. We always keep our mind like these flowers. We don't give chance to others to disturb my peace of mind. In this situation, in one side, in one hand, we should have knowledge. On the other side, we should be mindful. Both of them are very important. We should have clear understanding how suffering arises. And also at the same time, we should be mindful. Even though we have knowledge, if we are not mindful, actually our knowledge is useless. Even though our mind is in the present moment with mindfulness, if we don't, how suffering arises, actually we have nothing to practice. In this situation, knowledge, mindfulness, both of them are very important. And the first understanding of right understanding, Sammaditthi, is the understanding of the karmic law. The second one, Samma Sankappa, right intention. Right intention means as much as we have this understanding, karmic law, we keep our mind pure and calm. Right? What is that right? A right intention of thoughts. Right intention. The second one. As soon as our intention is correct, first our speech is correct. Before our actions are correct. That is very, very important. Our verbal discipline is more important than physical behavior. Be sure. Before our physical actions or behavior is correct, our speech is correct. We mostly are blamed because of our bad words than our actions. When we associate people in the society, most of people are blamed because of their misuse of speech. And right speech. The third one, Samma Vaca. Everything is in your handout. And Samma Vaca means Right? Right? Right speech. This every word is very, very important. Every sentence that I speak helps you to increase your intelligence. And right speech. And if we have right vision, right understanding, then our intention is correct. And our speech is correct. Then Samma Kammanta, our actions that we do physically are correct. Right? Actions. We abstain from stealing and killing living beings and also sexual misconduct. As much as we have right understanding, we try to take care of our mind, because mind is the most valuable thing that I have in my life, which brings me real happiness. Right actions, we abstain from killing beings, stealing and sexual misconduct. And the fifth one, Samma Ajiva. Whatever we do to live is correct if we have right vision. When you find a job, you think whether it is correct or not. And always we try to earn money in righteous way, because inner peace is the most important thing in my life. And right livelihood, Samma Ajiva. Then my all efforts that I do physically, verbally, mentally are correct. My efforts, it means I always try to overcome negative thoughts, negative actions, negative speech. And also I always try to increase good thoughts, good actions, good speech. That is the energy, the strength, effort that we have because of right understanding. Right understanding is like a light. That is the light. Right understanding shines all other things. Right understanding like the rain. Then right Samma Vayama, right effort, right energy, strength, dedication, courage. And the seventh one, that right mindfulness, Samma Sati. Right mindfulness. Mindfulness has been explained for many times by us, and we will discuss it again later. Mindfulness means the awareness of our body and mind. When other people look at outside, when they experience something, we come to inside when we experience something. When someone sees a person, he is looking at outside. Then when I see something, I reflect on what happens to my inside. My mind is angry or lustful or ignorant I look at inside. It doesn't mean that we don't respond. We respond harmoniously. But we always reflect on inside than outside. Because I take care of my mind, it means I take care of my happiness. I don't disturb my peace of mind, inner peace. That is the most important thing in my mind, in my life. And when we have right mindfulness, then the eighth one, that Samma Samadhi, right concentration or tranquility. Then here we started this path from right understanding of Sammaditthi. But what is the reason? Here still we have only the knowledge of karmic law. When we practice this path, when our mind is concentrated, we stop here. But this is not the only path that Buddha explained. We have another path. Yes, now we are going to next level. Now we explain these 8 steps with the understanding of the karmic law. It means we try to change outside. We try to respond outside. We always prepare outside because we think suffering or happiness comes from outside. And also still, be sure we have only the karmic law. Because still we are ignorant. Still we are ignorant. Even though we have the karmic law, we have the understanding of the karmic law, still we think, before I experience, it was here, after experience, those things remain. But we have good actions, we have good livelihood, good mindfulness, but still we have explained only the karmic law. When we go to the second level, the understanding of the dependent origination, we have overcome the knowledge of karmic law. It doesn't mean that we give up the karmic law. We have the understanding of the karmic law, but it also impermanent. But we are going forward, finding a certain solution, finding an ultimate solution. Then now we start the Noble Eightfold Path with more energy. What is that energy? The understanding of impermanence. Ignorance is the main reason why suffering arises. Although we have the understanding of the karmic law, although we do some good deeds, even though you didn't listen into the dependent origination, actually you do good deeds. You take care of your parents, you help others, you are generous, you are kind. You practice a lot of good deeds, even though you didn't listen to Buddha's message. But still you are in this level. under the karmic law. But, before Buddha appeared in the world, there were some ascetic people who were in the world. They had explained this path with the karmic knowledge. But after Buddha appeared in the world, Buddha explained the second level of arising of suffering. And here, first of all, we should have a clear understanding how suffering arises. Suffering arises because of ignorance. How we overcome ignorance? Increase in wisdom. What is the wisdom? Wisdom means understanding of impermanence, understanding of arising and ceasing of our all experience, or five aggregates. Five aggregates are the real wealth which is in the bottom level. When we look at this flower, we contemplate on four elements, and in the deeper level, we reflect on the impermanence of five aggregates. Whatever we experience through our six senses, be sure it means at the moment five aggregates arise. Those five aggregates cannot be seen, but that is the reality. When an intelligent person sees this building, who has an understanding about the building construction, as soon as that person sees this building, he may know that what kind of things which are consist of this building. We also should be like that. Whatever we experience, if we are intelligent, we should know how that experience arises. And with this understanding, we know we have only impermanence in our life. It doesn't mean that we should be away from our responsibilities. Actually, we are so active after this experience. Now we help others only with material things, with food, clothes and shelter. But after this experience, we help others not only with material things, but with this understanding. If we help someone with material things, that is maximally helpful only this life. But if we can help someone with this understanding, it is beneficial to him for his entire life. And also, with the understanding of the dependent origination, impermanence, arising and ceasing of our experience, we start this journey with more powerful strength. Then we have Samma Sankappa. Now I think, I contemplate in higher level. Because having the understanding of karmic law is like a moon. Having the understanding of the dependent origination like the sun. Then we can see everywhere without any limit, without any barrier. And then Samma Vaca. We always protect our words. That is why Buddha says, whatever you say, please reflect on it again and again whether it is correct. That is very important. Not only Samma Vaca or right speech, but our actions also correct. Buddha says, whatever you do, please reflect on whether it is correct or not. And Samma Ajiva, now our livelihood is very, very correct and righteous. And right Samma Vayama, right energy or effort for dedication. Now, not only particular time, but every moment we think this reality. Whenever we think this reality, it means we are away from suffering. Therefore, we always try to overcome negative thoughts, and also we always try to develop positive thoughts, especially wisdom. When you drive somewhere, you practice loving kindness. You practice impermanence. So reflecting on impermanence, my eyes are impermanent. When I see something, suddenly it ceases, the experience ceases. When you drive, when somebody does a sound back of you, then suddenly you understand this sound is impermanent. You haven't even looked at back. And with this understanding, we go forward. Samma Sati, mindfulness. Buddha says the importance of mindfulness. Mindfulness is the only way for the purification of beings. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to overcome sorrow and lamentation. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to distract pain and grief. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to gain enlightenment. Practicing mindfulness is the only way to achieve wisdom and enlightenment. What is the mindfulness? Mindfulness means we always aware of our body and mind. In short, with details, we are always aware of our physical body, feelings, consciousness and mental formations. Whatever we experience outside, we look at inside. When somebody blames you, you don't blame him. You think, what happens to my mind now? Then you laugh. If you have no mindfulness, you are angry. You blame that person. If you have mindfulness, you laugh because you have overcome anger. When somebody is following something which causes to lustful desire, you reflect on inside. It doesn't mean that we go away from the society. Actually living in the society. For example, when you go to a party, when other people are singing, you also can sing. Other people may think that you are an ordinary person, common person, but you are different. While you are singing, while you are dancing, you reflect on impermanence. Because of your duty or responsibility, you may go there, but mentally, you are different. But other people can't recognize you. It doesn't matter. And also, we may go to a college or university to study. We can go to a workplace. We do it because we have to do it for our primary needs. And while we are doing and fulfilling our day-to-day responsibilities and duties. Day by day, we are on the path of liberation. Day by day, we go forward, decreasing sorrow and lamentation. While we are going to decay physically, mentally, we are going to liberation. While other people are going to suffering, you are going to opposite side. Even though people earn money day by day, actually their happiness day by day reduces, decreases, because their physical body day by day going to decay and sicknesses. They completely trust in physical things and physical body, but we trust in our spirituality, our mental condition. That is not like physical things. And in this situation, we do everything with mindfulness. We always think how our physical body consists in that. We think, we reflect on 4 elements. And also we practice breathing meditation in and out. And we reflect on our death. After we die, what happens to my physical body? Although now it is alive or it is very beautiful, one day it is going to destroy. One day my physical body will become, the skeleton. That is the situation. When I think that reality, as soon as we meet a person, we apply that knowledge to that person. While we are associating with them, we see this reality. And also, a very special thing, by practicing mindfulness, that increases our life is we try to live in the present moment. Even though we think that we are happy when we earn money, actually we are not clever to live in the present moment. Now look at this environment. Look at these flowers, walls, lights. How nice. Like a heaven. If we can't live in the present moment, we can't see this beauty. Buddhism teaches us how we live in the present moment. Even though we are well educated, even though we are very rich with the ordinary world, actually we are not clever to live in the present moment. Even though we wear very beautiful clothes, we have no inner peace to look at these clothes at least 1 minute. Even though you have a very beautiful garden around your house, actually we have no lesser time to look at this environment that we made, spending a lot of money. Even we have no lesser time to see the moon, at least once a month. By practicing mindfulness, we are trained to see the beauty that already we have. But always we think future. When we think our future, we have lost the beauty of the present moment. Buddhism guides us to live in the present moment, looking this beautiful life. And however, when our mind is concentrated, when our mind is mindful, Buddha says, mind is the refuge for five senses. Our five senses are alive because of mind. Mind is the refuge for the physical body. Mindfulness is the refuge for the mind. If we want a real refuge, protection, safety, we should add this mindfulness to our mind. That is why we always say mindfulness is the dearest, beloved, best friend. Mindfulness is the dearest, beloved, best friend. Don't neglect this real friend. And whenever you live in mindfulness, nobody can disturb your peace of mind. Nobody can steal your inner peace. If someone can steal your inner peace, be sure it means you are away from mindfulness. Day by day, according to Buddhism, our real success, our real skillfulness depends on how far we are mindful. We are living in mindfulness. In this situation, by practicing mindfulness, we develop our concentration, living in a particular wholesome object for a long time. And it means we are clever to live for a long time in the same mental situation with a pleasant object. When mind is concentrated, now look at here, this only karmic law, we had only 8 paths, but the special thing, when we start our deliverance path, spiritual journey, with the understanding of the dependent origination, we don't stop here. Then we have another 2 steps. With the concentrated mind, we reflect on impermanence. As soon as mind is concentrated, we reflect on my eyes are impermanent, forms are impermanent, my ear is impermanent, sound is impermanent, consciousness is impermanent. We reflect on these 6 internal senses and 6 external objects as impermanent. Then, as the result of practicing this path, Sammajnana, right knowledge and right liberation, we receive. And here, in this path, day by day, we are going forward on the path of liberation, reducing defilements, especially ignorance. Ignorance is the huge mistake in our life. It brings us happiness. It brings us suffering. And when we see this reality throughout listening and practice, we understand Swakhato Bhagavata Dhammo. The Dhamma explained by the Buddha is well expounded. Akaliko, sanditiko, directly visible. Akaliko, immediately effective. Openaiko, Openaiko means we can see the results throughout our life, leading onwards. Ehipassiko, calling one to come and see. Buddhism never says you to come and believe. Buddhism invites you to come and see this reality. How do we see it? Throughout practicing our life. And Pacchattan Vedita Bovin to be personally realized by the wise person. These are the qualities of the Dhamma that Buddha explained. And as the result of all these steps in the Noble Eightfold Path, our real wealth gradually increases. What is the real wealth? What is the real property that we have in our life? There are 5 things. The center is mindfulness. Mindfulness is the center of our spiritual life. And when we are mindful, our concentration and wisdom gradually increase. When our concentration and wisdom gradually increase, our happiness also increases. Then our energy, effort, dedication, strength increases. We are hurried to see the results. If you have a job which has a lot of benefits, then you are hurried to get that job because you can get a lot of money. Actually, this spiritual path also like that. Happiness is the main purpose of everyone. When our happiness increases, we are hurried to practice this message in our life. And our energy or effort gradually increase, virya, and also when we see these results, our confidence in Buddha's enlightenment, his teachings, and his noble disciples gradually increase. It says confidence or saddha. Confidence. And we always live with these 4 things. And when we go on this path, when we go on this path, when we go on this path, finding the real happiness, then, we always reflect on impermanence. Impermanence is the flag that always moving, waving. Yes, always the knowledge of impermanence waving, moving, or impermanence. When you see the impermanence, you have no attachment or disattachment. You have a balanced mind. We create a balanced mind. We live in equanimity. We don't go to the extremes. When someone appreciates you, you have a balanced mind. When someone blames you, you have a balanced mind. Because as soon as someone speaks something, you know that sound is impermanent. That person also is made in 4 elements. It is not a certain person. And as the result of all these activities, finally, we can see some kind of special benefits in our life. That is very important. There are 3 results that we can see. One of them is reducing craving. Reducing craving. Going away from craving. And conceit, man, or measurement, or limits. Conceit. I don't know that word is familiar with you. Conceit means you always compare others. When you meet a person, you ask, how are you? Where do you work? What is your job? Where did you get your degree? What kind of degree is that? Do you have a master degree or PhD? Then we compare. That is the nature of conceit. And with this understanding, that conceit gradually reduces. Bless you. And the third one is, there is a very huge mistake in our life. That is wrong view. Wrong view means micchaditti. Micchaditti means we think there is a certain person inside. There is a certain thing inside. That is why always we think, I am the person. I am the man. Who blames me? Who criticizes me? Always we think that there is a certain person inside. Even we die, that person cannot be destroyed. It is permanent, we think. Even though we have a life, even though we have a mind, even though we have a physical body, actually we have no anything which is permanent. Our mind always changes. Our body also changes. Our life is, which consists in mind and body. Both of them arise at the moment with the conditions. Nothing is permanent. For example, when you think someone who has blamed you, then you may get angry. Suddenly, if you think that person has helped you, then your mind changes. Then if you think that person now has faced a fatal accident, now he is admitted to the hospital, then you are so kind. The same person. But actually, now that person is okay, he has no any problem. The news is wrong. But according to those experiences, our mind changes moment to moment. It is not a certain thing. And if we can understand this reality, we overcome wrong views. And also, if we experience something at this moment, that experience arises according to my present mental condition. This wall is for us. Now when I keep my hand to this wall, it is hard. But there are some gods who can go through this wall. They have no wall. This wall is made according to our mental conditions. When our inside changes, then this world is changed. This world is created by our mind, our consciousness, our ignorance, our desire, our craving. When we change inside, the interesting thing is that when we look at something which is pleasant, if we want to look at it as pleasant, we can see it like pleasant. If we want to something which is pleasant as unpleasant, we can see as unpleasant. If we want to see something which is pleasant and unpleasant as non-pleasant or non-unpleasant, we can think like that when we change inside. For example, if you meet a person who is very young and beautiful, if you want to see that person as beautiful, you can think like that. If you want that person as unpleasant, in the future that person is very old, having a stick like the old person, then if you want to reflect on like that, you can reflect like that. If you want to overcome pleasant or unpleasant conditions, you can overcome it if you change inside. This is the real victory. This is the real win that one day we should achieve if we are intelligent. If we are not intelligent, we are helpless. If you are clever, if you are intelligent, if you are fortunate, one day we should achieve this destination. Then we don't need to change outside. Because we don't depend on outside. We completely depend on our intelligence. In the very complex situation, we can live with happiness. While other people are blaming us, we can see them like our children. When somebody blames you, if you think that person is upset, he has come from lunatic asylum, if you think, you have no suffering. Yes?
That was exactly my comment. I understand in that case, but there are certain circumstances that we still have to remember that we have the conventional law to help us in certain cases. For example, if someone is disturbing you once, you understand, you have this knowledge, but if someone is disturbing you constantly, either you or mentally or physically, or your property, or disturbing your rights, you still have the conventional law. Unless you're enlightened already, you're just going to forget it, but if you're not...
Very good question.
Right?
Actually, even Arhantas have the same problem. Buddha has advised, even Arhantas, when they go to a place throughout a jungle, they should think whether there are cruel animals there. Even though they are Arhantas, Buddha never says, you go there directly because you are Arhantas. Buddha never says. Buddha says, even you are Arhantas, when you go to a certain place, be careful, because the problem is not for you. If somebody disturbs you, the problem is to that person, because he creates some negative emotions. Then he makes some unwholesome results. Even though Arhantas have overcome the sansaric journey, but other people create some negative thoughts and they create negative results. We should be kind to them. On the other side, actually we are not arahants. Our personality is not perfect. When someone blames you again and again, frequently, then we can face it. Then there are several steps that Buddha has explained to practice in this way. At the bottom level, we can discuss with them. And also, although we discuss with them, if they are not changed, then again and again we have to practice some teachings in Buddhism. Finally, if you have to get some decision with some rules, you have to do it. And also, if you can't control anything, then we have to change the place. The most important thing is our inner peace. If we lose our inner peace when we associate with them, and also if we can't control those things, we have to get some decisions. It doesn't mean that as soon as we have some problems, we should leave that place. Actually, we should try to do something again and again. Finally, we have to get some decisions. And however, if we do something wisely, actually we can control some things. Buddha also has done like that. And also, some arahants and some ordinary monks also have done some kind of things when they face some problems. And also, but the thing is, some people, those who have no enough personality, as soon as they have a problem, they change the place, they disturb, they blame others, they increase their problem. But as intelligent persons, we should control them in some levels. Finally, if we can't control it, we have to leave. And these are the real properties in our life. This is the real wealth. Day by day, these 5 spiritual faculties increase. And as the result of all these qualities, the special thing that increases in our life is reflecting on impermanence. The main thing, whether it decides our spiritual happiness, is increasing the duration of practicing impermanence. That is the most important thing in our life that we should practice day by day. We do all things to come to this level, wisdom. We do our responsibilities, we do our jobs, we practice generosity, we worship Buddha, we pay our gratitude to other people, even we earn money, doing all things. Finally, we should achieve the final destination, having the flag of reflecting on impermanence. Our real success depends on the duration that we reflect on impermanence. Whenever we are reflecting on impermanence, nobody can disturb our peace of mind. Even we die, actually, we never lose our inner peace. With the understanding of impermanence, we have overcome all defilements, all sufferings. And for that, day by day, we have to do some things. When we associate some people, actually we need their help. That is why we should be be generous. When we practice generosity, actually they don't disturb us sometimes. Buddha says, one of the ways that we can win the friends is practicing generosity. Dadang mithani gantati. One of the ways that we win the friends is practicing generosity. When we have good qualities, our friends and neighbors, actually they also help us. Even though they can't help us, they don't disturb us. That is also very important. And also not only, living visible persons, but invisible beings also help us. They wish us. Because they also are happy when we practice this spiritual path. Because they also receive merits looking at us. That is why day by day when we practice some good deeds, we transfer merits to other beings too. Sometimes if you have to face some accident, then some, invisible beings help you. If you have to face some fatal accident on the street, sometimes you have a less accident at home. Then you can avoid that fatal accident. Don't worry when you have some problems in your life. If you practice good deeds day-to-day life, because you have the minimum disadvantages in your life when you practice some good deeds. There are some people, although they are very rich, they have a lot of problems. They have physical illnesses, their family, they have a lot of problems. Actually, among them, you are so lucky because of your spirituality, because you have done a lot of good deeds in your previous lives. There are some people who have their only son is dead. There are some people who have a serious illness like cancer. Actually, if we have this understanding, even though we are sick physically, mentally, we are healthy. Because we are suffering with illness when we think that illness. Suffering or happiness arises when we think it. When you are listening to me, you don't know even what you have wore, what you are wearing, where you are sitting. When you are listening to me, your entire attention to me. When you are listening to Dhamm at that moment, even though you are sick physically, you don't feel your physical illnesses. Everything is like that. If we can keep our attention in the higher level, with higher spirituality, at that moment we don't feel other disadvantages in our life. Have any question? Have any question?
I do have a question.
Yes.
When we talk about, I've heard the language right intentions, right motives, and confused a little bit by some of the overlap and some of the labels. And I guess my question is, for example, one of the four elements of the right mindfulness is the contemplation of mental formations. I also remember reading somewhere that there are four types of food. One of the foods is our motives and our intentions. We see that language a lot. I'm trying to understand, does it mean the same thing each time I see it, or am I supposed to have deeper understanding in the different categories?
Yes, you are talking about right mindfulness, samasthati.
Sometimes it's easy to say the right thing, to get those words out, but I may not have the right intentions. I may not have the right motives. And I'm wondering if that's part of this idea of mental formations, right motives, right intentions. I'm trying to get my arms around.
Actually, these 8 things actually cannot be separated. These 8 things are together.
Is there a hierarchy?
Actually, it has hierarchy, but as much as we have right understanding, at the same level, we have other steps too. It has hierarchy, but it is together.
Connected to each other.
Everything is interrelated. For example, if you have higher understanding about the right understanding, at the same level, you have right mindfulness. Although we explain the hierarchy, it is correct. But in the same time, these 8 things going up together. For example, if you have right mindfulness, at the same level, you have right speech, right intention. At the same level, you have right mindfulness. At the same level, you have right wisdom too. For example, when sometimes Buddha explained Dhamma, there were some very gifted persons. As soon as they listening to Dhamma, they attained enlightenment. At the same time, they didn't have any time to spend, because their intelligence is very high. Sometimes we have to spend more times, but according to our right understanding, right wisdom, and also with our energy and intelligence, suddenly our mindfulness, our concentration increase. Yes, that is the thing.
I think your question is like some of the overlap occurs in right intention could be similar to right effort.
Right. Actually, in one level, we can explain separately. Right intention or right, intention means mentally. Effort means mostly physically or verbally. For example, intention means the ability of driving. Okay? The ability of driving. Reaching the destination is, or increasing the way that you drive is like energy. There is some person who has low level intention, they drive and he drives slowly. When some person has very high intention, then he drives very fast. Energy is very fast, like that.
I would have gone with drive safe and drive dangerous. You went with fast.
Yeah, actually, I got it as an example. Only example. But thing is, it doesn't matter whether you drive fast or not. The very important thing is mindfulness. You can drive 100 miles within 1 hour. Some persons has to spend 3 hours for 100 miles. We never say that who drives fast is successful or who drives slowly is unsuccessful. Successful or unsuccessful depends on the way how far you practice Dhamma. Because the time is the most important thing. We can never bring the time with past. The thing is, while you are spending your life, If you can get the results in this time, practicing Dhamma, that is the important thing. For example, when you cook something at home, sometimes you cook very fast. Someone cooks very slowly. But it doesn't matter whether you cook fast or slowly. But the thing is, while you are cooking, if you did it with mindfulness, at that moment you develop your spirituality. That is the important thing. Because the time is the most important thing. And Buddhism teaches us how we get the benefits through the time. Whenever we are mindful, it means we are getting the benefits throughout our life. Life is very important. Time is more important because we can never get the time which passed. And don't miss your time without practicing mindfulness. In every second, if we can live in mindfulness, it means our time is more valuable because we have get the benefits from the time. How do we practice it? Please always keep your attention around the nose. Keeping your attention here, do everything. Cleaning house, cooking something, and doing exercises, driving, go to work, do anything, it doesn't matter with mindfulness. It doesn't matter whether you do it fast or slowly. You know, sometimes there are some people who do something very fast, but they do it mindfully. Then they have no mistakes. Even though they drive fast, actually they are mindful, they are searching where is police. I don't encourage you to drive fast, but the thing is, the most important thing is mindfulness. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention and participation. By the power of all these merits, may our departed relatives also receive these merits, and may they enhance their spirituality, spiritual power, and may they receive a better life, and may they attain final bliss of liberation. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to our departed relatives too. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idamme ñātīnaṁ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. By the power of all these merits, may guardian deities and angels also receive these merits. By receiving these merits, may they keep their eye on you too. May they also enhance their spiritual energy. With that intention, let's transfer these merits to guardian deities and angels to recite in the Gatha. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciraṃ rakkantu sāsanam. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciraṃ rakkantu desanam. Ākāsattā ca bummattā devānāgā mahiddhikā puññantaṃ anumoditvā ciraṃ rakkantu tvaṃ sadā. By the power of all these merits, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no problems come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dukkham pantā ca niddukkha, bhayam pantā ca nidbhaya, සෝකම් පන්තාච නිස්සෝකා හොන්තු සම්බේ පිපානිනෝ. සාදු සාදු සාදු.